Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be installing a Hub Mini in UniFi Access. So to start off, you're going to need a UniFi console that supports the Access application. I'll drop a list on screen of the currently supported units. It's quite large, so the chances are you probably already have one at home. All right, let's get configuring. So as I alluded to in the beginning, we're going to be using the Hub Mini. Paired with this hub, we're going to be using a fail-safe drop bolt, a G3 reader, and a push-to-exit button. This is actually the setup I'll be installing on my back sliding door. All right, so looking at the terminals, we have our exit request, our normally open, COM, normally closed, and our door position terminals. Quick breakdown of what normally open and normally closed mean. With the normally open and COM terminals, you would hook up a lock that doesn't need power to remain locked, like a fail secure. And then a COM, the normally closed, is when it's sending power all the time and it turns off the power to open the door. And that's typically found on fail-safe switches. Another option on here is the dry and 12-volt switch. In our application, we'll be using the 12-volt because we have a powered lock. But if you only needed to send a signal, say for even a garage door opener, you would set it into dry mode so it's not outputting electricity. So for our setup today, we're going to be installing the black wire and COM and red and normally closed. This lock does come with two other wires. To be completely honest, I'm not sure what they're for. Since this is the drop bolt, we're going to need a push to exit button, and we're going to go ahead and wire this into the exit request. We're going to go ahead and insert white into the negative and red into the positive on the exit request. Although since these wires are just going to a switch, it doesn't really matter if you're using the positive or negative. It's going to be the same anyways. All right, and the last piece of the puzzle, G3 reader. Now I'm going to be taking the Ethernet cable from my PoE switch and plugging it in. Just note, this device, that was cool. This device is rated for PoE++. You can power it in some cases with PoE Plus if that's the only thing you have. You just got to keep in mind that you're not going to be able to draw a lot of power out of these ports. Matter of fact, once you plug it in with PoE Plus, if you look on the interface, it'll derate how many watts it can output through the ports and say a realistic number. Well, it seems to already be eager to work. So I act like this is on our door and the door is sliding shut. Boom, it's locked. Push the exit button, it opens up. It's got a 5-second delay because that's how they're programmed by default. All right, bang. Pretty cool. Click the button, goes away. So it's already working and we don't even have it set up. All right, now let's head over to the Access application. For this, I'm going to be using unifi.ui.com. It's just my preferred method of accessing my consoles. All right, over in the Devices tab on the left, you're going to see now we have our new hubs to adopt. We're going to go ahead and start by clicking Adopt on the Door Hub Mini. Well, now that it's adopted, we're going to go ahead and update our entry as well, just to make this video a little more streamlined. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead into the hub and start configuring some things. So let's just look right here at the Overview tab. Currently it says it's locked. If I click the unlock, you'll hear it. Now, no, you won't hear it because I don't have things put together. But let's try it again. Unlock. Down here in power usage, it actually switches over to show how much power the lock is currently using. I'm not sure why it says no off, but it is what it is. Paired devices, that is the G3 reader that is updating currently, and you can see some other information. If we go over to Insight, it will show who unlocked it and when. If we go over to device settings, this is where we get to rename it. So what we're going to do is change this to sliding door. Coming into the terminal manager, we can now see basically how we have our hub set up, how the wires are plugged in. So our exit request on closed active or open active. In our case, since it's a switch and we're pushing a button, we're going to be using close active. Or under lock, you can see your lock duration. Default's 5 seconds. I have every single one of mine set to 5 seconds. But here are the options. So 0.1, if you're the Flash himself, you could use 0.1 and act like a ninja and get in your house. Or 1 minute if you really need to allow some time for people to come in, maybe handicapped, coming in with a wheelchair, crutches, you name it. Door position. Now, this is where we look at door position sensor. Now, you can get electric strikes with door position sensors built into them. I currently don't have any in my possession, so I haven't gotten a chance to actually test what that looks like and how to hook them up. But nonetheless, it would be the same as the other two. If you're activating it, you just got to choose the right option for the switch that you have. All right, so we can get to the G3 reader two different ways. We can go ahead and just click on it in the list, or if you're over here and you see the access method settings and you hit edit, You can actually get to your reader from here. So now you can see that it cleverly renamed it to sliding door entry. That is just the name of the reader and its position. So if you had one on the inside of the house for scanning out, you're doing the hand wave, that would be your exit request, but we're coming in, so this is the entry request. TouchPass is using your phone or watch, and it'll actually let you directly in without having to open up anything on your phone. So you just hold your phone up to the reader, boom, the door unlocks. It's very convenient. Does have a slight delay to it that might irritate some people, but for most of the time, if you're just trying to get into your house, you don't want to carry anything, you just want to hold your watch up, you're good to go. NFC cards. I showed this in my last video. I have a third-party NFC card for scanning in. It's extremely fast. UniFi also sells NFC cards. You can get them in any shape, form, or size you want. So if you go on Amazon or eBay, you can buy NFC rings. I actually have one on order, so I'm gonna be wearing a ring that'll let me into all the doors in my house. There's a lot of different things you can do with the NFC compatibility. Mobile unlock, I believe that pertains to the app and being able to unlock it in the app. And then hand wave, you can scan your hand. So if you just activate the hand wave feature on like your exit, you can wave your hand over the exit reader. Greetings. Now, so these can't announce your name like some of the higher end models can, but it does give you the option to say a couple little messages, hi, hello, welcome, or none. I just set mine to none and turned that darn thing off. There's really no point, unless you really would like your house to say welcome to you every time you come in. For me, I just like the ring to, so I have audible recognition of the door unlocked. We look at this, the status light, there's a blue light on the bottom of the reader. Down here in the bottom, you'd be able to see it if I didn't have the sticker on. Boom. And the status sound is that ring that I've been talking about. Down here in manage, you just have your other settings. Now we're just going to go ahead and hit apply. So this is how I set mine up to work the way that I like them to work. So from inside the hub, we can get the unlock schedules. You can do custom or temporary unlock. Temporary unlock, you can set however long you want it to unlock. I've used this on different occasions. Or you can just permanently leave it unlocked. The schedule is kind of powerful. You get to choose what times that you want it to be locked and unlocked. Or you can do a predefined schedule, holiday exceptions, first person in, so the first person in unlocks and then stays unlocked until the end of the hours. You could definitely set this up for your house if you wanted the doors unlocked during the daytime, or if you have people coming over, nannies, babysitters, you name it. You could set an unlock schedule. But let's talk about the assigned policies. So currently you can see here I have the assigned policies set to house doors. Let's go over to settings and take a look at those policies. So just hitting the settings on the bottom, policies at the top. Now you can see here that I have two. I have house doors and pole barn. I have them separated so I can grant people access to my pole barn without necessarily giving them access to my house. I have my friends come over and they use the pole barn to work on their cars and stuff. So I want them separate. So now if we go ahead and hit create new, we can enter a policy name. So we'll say this one's shed. So now under locations, you can select all, which would just include all the devices that you have, all the access hubs. Or you hit custom and we hit select, and now we can choose what doors are considered this group. We're just gonna lie and say pole barn door for right now. Save, and you can add as many as you want. Now, users, you get to choose what users are allowed to use this group. So we hit custom, select. I'm gonna have to do some blurring here, but we could go ahead and check different users if we want and give them access to the shed. We can also set a schedule so people can only come in at certain times of the day and use certain doors at certain times of the day. And of course, there's predefined and custom. So we're just gonna take a look at the house door policy. So we need to go ahead and add that sliding door hub in this policy. So we're gonna go hit edit, we're gonna hit sliding door and hit save. And now you can see it's been added to the list. And of course, these users, etc., are allowed to access now the sliding door as well. So we'll hit apply changes. All right, so at this point, everything should be set up to allow this to work. I'm gonna go reset the camera and we're gonna try it out. All right, so I just had another thought. I should probably show my card inventory and TouchPass. Sorry about the audio. I'm just gonna be using my laptop microphone for this. So if we go into card inventory, you can see my 20 cards. I'll probably have some of this information blurred, and also in here, you can quickly see who's assigned to the cards. If we look at TouchPass, again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to blur some of this information. These are the 10 free TouchPasses you get when you set up UniFi Access for the first time. And I still have quite a long time before I'm gonna have to buy any more. They are $5 a year per person. So in December of this year, I'll be paying $15 for the 3 people that I allowed to use TouchPass. Everybody else who commonly comes over is just getting a card though. Visitor section, I actually haven't set this up. You probably don't really need it in residential environment. It's just more convenient to have guest NFC cards if you want. Switching back over to the dashboard, we're going to take a look at active users. All right, even directly logged into the console, I can't get the page to open. So I'm sorry, but I can't show you the list of users. So we're just going to go ahead and hit the create new button. This is where you can do, your first name, blah, 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 last name, blah. Email, not required. So this is a good way you can set up your guest cards. But if you do include their email, they can access the identity app and be able to unlock the doors from their phone. Looking here in credentials, you can add a touch pass to them, add an NFC card, and this is where you get to choose what one of your readers you would like to use to scan the NFC card. You can also select use existing card, and it'll show your list of available cards. License plate, if you have G6 cameras. I think the AI cameras also read license plates, but if you have that functionality, you can type in their license plate. Up where I live, we actually don't have license plates on the front of our cars, so this feature is rather useless here. And then add a face photo. You can upload just any picture of a person's face, and it will use that for scanning in on the cameras that allow. A good example, that would be the G6 entry, the new doorbell basically. And then resources and groups, I just leave those blank. I haven't used either one of them, not for my simple setup. All right, so since I have touch pass enabled, we'll go ahead and scan with my watch. Bada boom. She is wide open. Give it 5 seconds, and then we can close it up. We have to push the exit button. Same thing. Totally good. I'll act like this is actually sliding. And then, of course, the NFC card. This one's assigned to me, so bada boom. Again, just like anything else. This system really does work excellent. All right, once again, thanks everybody for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. I have been thinking, I do have a lot of ideas for videos in the future. Of course, the next one will be the sliding glass door video. There's a lot of people who are waiting on that. But no, I'm having a lot of fun making these, so I think we're gonna go ahead and maybe even take a look at the rest of my UniFi stuff. I'm always doing crazy things, so. Till the next time, see ya.